What if I told you your social security number, your home address, even your passport details were possibly sitting in the street, blowing in the wind, thanks to your bank?
Some Bank of America customers may have had their information leaked after a data breach at a tech company that works with the bank. That company, Infosys McCamish Systems, or IMS, provides services for deferred compensation plans. IMS says it was hacked, and some Bank of America customers may have had personal information compromised.
An important heads up for anyone who banks with Bank of America.
Yeah, the U.S. government has ordered the company to pay more than $100 million to customers over illegal fees and other issues. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says Bank of America will also have to pay $150 million in penalties for issues dating back to 2012.
Bank of America just got exposed for a massive data breach, and they're staying shockingly silent about how many people were really affected. Documents with your private financial information were literally left unsecured outside of a bank, and now the fallout is getting worse. But here's the terrifying twist. While they scramble to clean up the mess, Bank of America is also warning that it could cancel your account and hand over your assets to the state if you don't meet one specific requirement. And they've already started. And it's not just them. Chase, Wells Fargo, Citi, they're all doing it too. So in this video, I'm going to go ahead and break down how this happened, why this could be the biggest financial privacy disaster of the decade, and what steps you need to actually take immediately to protect yourself, to protect your family and your money. So stick with me, guys, because by the end of this video, you're going to see exactly why no account is truly safe right now. And so what if I were to tell you that your most private financial details, your name, your social security number, your bank account, your passport number could be floating around out there, all because of a mistake that your bank made and they didn't even bother to call you about it? Well, this isn't some what if story. In fact, this just happened, and the bank involved is none other than Bank of America. On December 30th, something unthinkable happened. A third-party vendor hired to destroy sensitive documents for Bank of America failed to secure physical banking documents while moving them. You heard that right, guys. So instead of being destroyed, those documents were found scattered outside of a financial center, out in the open, just completely exposed. Let that sink in. And these weren't just some old papers. These documents may have contained your full name, your phone number, your home and business address, email, date of birth, gender, and yes, even your social security number, passport information, government IDs, and financial data all tied to your bank account. Here's the worst part. They don't even know who all was affected. The vendor couldn't determine whose information was in those documents, which means instead of telling specific people, Bank of America had to send a warning to everyone who might have been affected. This is not confidence, guys. This is chaos. And for the people caught up in this, it's already real. The Massachusetts Attorney General confirmed that at least 2 residents had their social security numbers, credit card numbers, driver's license information, and entire financial accounts breached. And while Bank of America is offering some damage control, a 2-year membership to an identity theft protection service, let's be real, guys, that doesn't undo the violation. That doesn't take your passport number off the dark web. And here's where it gets even darker. While the breach was happening, Bank of America was also updating its policies to start canceling accounts that it deems inactive or abandoned and turning over your money, your CDs, even your safety deposit box contents to the state. So let me repeat that, guys. If you don't meet one specific requirement, and we'll get into what that is, they can legally seize your money and hand it over to the government. That's not a conspiracy theory, guys. This is actually published in their terms. And they're not the only ones. Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, they're all doing this. So what's going on here? Why is one of the largest banks in America losing control of sensitive data and quietly preparing to lock out account holders and hand over their assets? Is this just corporate carelessness, or is this the first sign of a bigger collapse, or worse, a financial system that no longer serves the customer but serves itself? Well, I'm going to break that all down in the next part of this video, including how to find out if your data was exposed and what specific steps you need to take today to keep your money safe, even if your bank tries to shut you out. Now, before we go there, I do want to ask you something. Have you ever thought about what would happen if you woke up and your account was blocked, your money was frozen, and no one could tell why? Because that's not just possible. It's already happening. Don't wait for your bank to make you a headline, okay? Stick around, guys, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to protect your assets, how to keep your account from being classified as abandoned, and what to do if your personal information is already compromised. This video could be the difference between staying in control and being blindsided. Quick reminder, this part of the video is sponsored by Aura. Get a 14-day free trial and see if your data has been exposed. We talk about corrupt institutions and untrustworthy systems all the time on this channel, but there's one area where that corruption hits your pockets directly, and that's when your personal data gets stolen. Big banks and corporations aren't protecting us. Just look at Bank of America. They got breached and they didn't say anything for months. Same with Citigroup, same with Chase. These companies wait an average of 9 months before they report a breach. That means you could be compromised right now and they're just keeping it quiet. A friend's mom got hit hard. Scammers got into her debit account. She lost money, her mortgage payment bounced, her home was at risk, all because no one told her her info was out there. That's why I want you to check out today's sponsor, Aura. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you quickly if your sensitive info like your SSN or bank login gets leaked. It's all-in-one protection, credit, financial, identity, and they back it with up to $5 million in identity theft insurance. Look, I know the system's broken, but that doesn't mean you have to be the next victim. Go to aura.com/Ron Yates, get your free 14-day trial, and see if your info has already been exposed. It takes 2 minutes to find out. It could save you a lot of hassle. What if I told you that your bank could legally take your money, lock your account, and hand over your assets to the government just because you didn't check your balance in time? Well, that's not a scare tactic. That's not a what if. This is real. I mean, this is happening right now, and Bank of America is leading the charge. In the wake of a shocking data breach, which I covered earlier, Bank of America is now warning that it could cancel or block your accounts simply because you didn't meet one very specific requirement. And guess what? They're not alone. Wells Fargo, Chase, Citibank, and other regional banks are reportedly doing the same thing, quietly, legally, and in most cases, you won't even know until it's too late. The policy targets what banks label as inactive or abandoned accounts, but that label, it's deceptive. So here's what it really means. If you haven't initiated any activity on your account, no transfers, no balance checks, no personal information updates for a certain period of time, they can flag your account as dormant. And activity like monthly fees or auto payments, that doesn't count. That's bank initiated, not customer initiated. Huge difference. Now, depending upon your state, that inactivity period could be 3 years if you live in New York, California, Texas, Nevada, or Illinois, but just 12 months if you're in Florida or Washington State. After that period, your account doesn't just sit there quietly. It becomes a target. First, the bank may block it, meaning you can't access it without going through hoops, paperwork, and sometimes even the courts. But then it gets worse. If they don't hear from you, the bank can legally seize your contents of your account, your checking balance, your savings, your CDs, even the contents of your safe deposit box, and turn it all over to the state government under what's called escheatment laws. Yes, the state takes control of your assets just because you didn't log in for a year or two. And I need you to really think about what that means in 2025 when people are dealing with job changes, inflation, rising costs, and maybe trying to let their money just sit and grow in peace. Now, that strategy might get you locked out of your own money. So what can you do? Well, I'm going to break down exactly how to avoid being flagged as abandoned in the next section, but let me leave you with this here. If your financial institution is willing to cancel your accounts, if they're willing to lose control of your private data in a breach, if they're willing to hand over your hard-earned money to the government without even a phone call, how secure is your money really? Guys, the time to act is now, not tomorrow. Check your accounts, make a small transaction, update your information. Even logging in can save you from this nightmare. And next in the video, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step checklist to keep your accounts active, your money protected, and the government out of your wallet. So definitely subscribe, stay alert, and most importantly, don't get caught slipping because the banks, they're moving fast. And if you're not paying attention, they'll take everything and call it policy. So first was the data breach, then came the mass account closures. And now we're finding out the real reason behind all of it. And it should absolutely terrify you because this isn't just about Bank of America anymore. It's about every major bank in the country and what they're planning next. So let's back up. We now know Bank of America suffered a massive breach where private customer documents, including social security numbers, passport information, and financial data were literally found blowing in the wind outside of a bank. And while they were scrambling to contain that disaster, something else happened behind the scenes. Bank of America, along with Chase, Wells Fargo, and Citi, is now aggressively canceling or blocking accounts they've labeled inactive or abandoned. Now, if you haven't logged in or touched your account in a while, you could wake up one day and find your entire balance transferred to the state. But why now? Why this sudden crackdown? Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Banks are in trouble, not because they're broke yet, but because they're under enormous pressure to cut costs, reduce liability, and limit their risk exposure. Dormant accounts to the bank, those are a liability. Inactive safety deposit boxes, that's just wasted space and potential risk. Unused CDs or old IRAs, that's money they don't want to babysit anymore. And instead of protecting your money like they promised, they're quietly shifting gears, tightening policies, and dumping responsibility to the state government where it becomes your problem to chase down. But here's what no one is saying out loud. The drastic moves aren't just about policy updates, they're warning signs. Banks are bracing for something, and the public is being kept in the dark. When a financial institution starts canceling accounts, looking for access, pushing dormant funds off their books, and simultaneously exposing your personal information in sloppy breaches, that's not just corporate tightening. That's a signal that something in the system isn't stable. And I'm not saying that the sky is falling, but I am saying if you don't take control of your data and your accounts now, you might not get the chance later. So here's what I want you to do right now before you forget and before it's too late. Go to https://aura.com/Ron Yates and claim your free 14-day trial of Aura's award-winning identity theft protection. In just a few clicks, you can scan the dark web and you can see if your personal information, your social security number, email, or passwords is already exposed from the breach. It costs you nothing to check, and honestly, in today's world, it costs you everything if you don't. This isn't fear-mongering, this is your wake-up call. Bank of America just showed us how quickly our private information, our trust, and even our access to our own money can vanish. So stay alert, stay informed, and take your financial security back into your hands. Again, head to https://aura.com/Ron Yates. Check your exposure and get the tools you need to stay protected in a world where even the biggest banks can no longer guarantee your safety. I'll see you guys in the next video, and trust me, what's coming next is even bigger.